Here we go. Alright. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Non-Classics. This is episode number 2936 and Doubleshot number 2830. Both these two trades here are basically books that the cast is sexy in the 80s. Yep. First up we have is Birds of Prey, Volume 1, Megadeath, which contains the first 6 issues of basically issues 1 through 6 of Birds of Prey. I believe this is volume 5 of the series. Yes, because 4 was a one-shot. So, basically, the Birds of Prey put together, and by the way, it's written by Kelly Thompson. So, these are your lineup, basically. So, we have, well, Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, Barbara Gordon's here as Oracle, obviously. Black Canary, Big Barda, Zealot, which, by the way, when Zealot is recruited, she's waking up after having sex with Cole Cash. You're thinking, who's Cole Cash? Grifter. Yep. And Black Canary, you have her basically, well, her bed being shared by Oliver Queen, her boyfriend. Which, in pre-Flashpoint, these two were married. Yes. Also, Big Barda is drawn, like, later on I saw, she's drawn very weirdly. And at some points, basically, she's wearing this attire, or she's wearing her red skimpy outfit. Where it's like, shows a lot of her sexy legs. At one point, they knock off the helmet. So, we need to remember, and Cassie suggests, what about Harley Quinn? And Black Canary is like, no. But she joins anyways, because basically the mission of the team at this point, the first mission, is to save Sin. Black Canary's basically her adopted sister. Yep. And by the way, this book, I think a lot of people were people were not surprised. We had with Cassie here. Okay, it's got a Batgirl. Okay, Barbara is here, obviously. So is Black Canary. Fine. But there's one character missing who's not been featured in Birds of Prey since Volume 2 of the series. Actually, she was featured in Batgirl and Birds of Prey, but not in this book. The Huntress. Yeah, for some reason, she's not part of the lineup in this book. So yeah, of course, you have Canary recruiting first Cassie, and then you have Big Bard in L.A., where she's recruited by Cassie, and then, of course, those two go recruit Zealot. Well, I thought they had sex. No, apparently Zealot lives in Star City, which is interesting given the fact these two are Wildstorm characters. And a little fun fact about Zealot. You see, her first comic appearance was in Grifter, post-Flashpoint. And according to Rob Liefeld, get this, and this is bizarre to say the least. He explains on his podcast about this, to where it was not going to be Zealot. Nope. You see, according to him, the original plan was to have Cheshire show up in Grifter, and of course put the issue out. And then he was summoned before the editors, and then they said, no, you can't use Cheshire. And he's like, why? Because we said so. Yeah, he was never given a reason why that Cheshire was not seen as around for Grifter. He wanted to use her, but apparently he was told no. Yeah, that was, when I've been hearing about that period of time, I did talk to Dan Deal about that, and it almost seems like this was a very bizarre time for DC Comics. You know, the period of, like, late 2011 to, basically from 2011 to about, I'd say about 2012, 2013-ish. That first couple years, the New 52, it's a very bizarre time period. Stuff I've heard behind the scenes have come out since then. And I did talk to Andy about the Superman stuff with George Perez, and for what George Perez said about that period of time, yes, what George Perez said definitely was true about being consistent reason why the whole thing. And the thing is, apparently, I think it was Dan told me this, that Grant and Morrison and George Perez had to be kept separate for some reason. I don't know why. It's really weird. Then we have just Zell waking up. And of course, Cole, you know, as you could tell, it's Cole Cash. You think, oh, it's some redhead guy. You know, as you can tell, it's Grifter because his mask is on the table. Yep, that's how we know it's Grifter. And of course, that she puts on a black top, takes off the white top she's wearing, and puts on basically her Zealot costume. Which, I've heard that pre-Flashpoint Zealot did not like being called Zealot. And apparently, like, she gets up, she's like, which, like, trying to check her voice, and she's like squeezing her throat, like, whoo. Yep. So, yeah, and then of course Canary recruits her, and they have Cassie put on her utility belt on a table. It says, "How do I quit? Absolutely not. Can I tell you a story? You may." And of course, that mention about Cassie meets up with Harley. And I appreciate the artwork. I love this art style. Yes, the artwork is very retro, and I like this. And I'm like, you know, I've never heard anybody ever talk about this book. I mean, do people think it's bad? No, not really. It's not bad. And no, I don't think Kelly Thompson's a terrible writer. I know some people may not like some of her work, but I enjoy her work. Yes. Even she appreciates, basically, me complimenting her on her work. I mentioned to her on Twitter, I love her work, Captain Marvel. I love it. I thought it was weird that her book run ended at 50 issues. Yeah. So Harley is like, she seemed like she doesn't want to, so 16's like, okay. So she helps out, and of course, base operations, I think it's supposed to be Canary's apartment, Gotham. And then they have this woman named Meridian appear in the book. And that's issue 1. Yes. So we have a flashback of Sid and Black Canary just hanging out for camping trip. So and apparently she doesn't know what to kill Amazons. Okay, we're not killing Amazons. Yeah. I don't know how Zella gets the fact that some Black Canaries want to kill Amazons. Well, the thing is, basically, this is a loose tie into Wonder Woman. Which I'm sure Kelly Thompson had to bring this up, because I'm sure she's probably doing her own thing with this book, and I'm sure that she probably wants to just do her own story, and maybe this was suggested by her editor that she basically did this. So they all basically chat about it, and of course they go recruit. Of course they go to a place called the Oblivion Bar. And of course they look constantly for her, get into fights with these monsters. Also find a giant shark. Yes. And look, here's Big Barda in her skimpy red outfit that she's also occasionally appeared in Mr. America book, which this is something because she very rarely puts on this attire. Yes. You haven't seen the outfit when she appears in Mr. America book. And of course they're running into King Shark, which Harley does know. Oh, and I love her reference. You're going to need a bigger boat. Yes, that's obviously a Jaws reference because King Shark is here. Yep. Now, one thing I can definitely tell about the art style, it's not like art styles we see nowadays in books. This reminds me a lot of 80s style artwork. And I like it. I really do. It's well defined. And at one point you have Zilla stabbing Harley. Which, of course, you have all this stuff happening here. But, and of course, Sin is rescued by Canary, and then Green Arrow shows up here, who fires an arrow at Wonder Woman. Which, of course, what's the point of that? I think that's sort of a loose setup for absolute power. Yes. Yeah. And at one point you have Wonder Woman fighting Zealot. Yeah. Probably the best thing, like I gotta say, the best thing about this book is the artwork. I love the artwork for this book. And the book is really good. They rescue Sin, and then the book, it's like the book artwork changes after only just 4 issues to where it's a completely different art style. Yes. So it's like a very much a standalone issue. This one found this other creature, this other person stuff. Yeah. Of course, Black Canary is bizarre to say the least. She looks really weird, the way she designed it, but she still looks very beautiful. Yeah. Everyone looks like they're having fun. Harley's outfit's getting torn up thanks to the jungle they're in. Oh, the artist is artist Dan. And then, like, the very next issue, Leonardo Romero comes back doing the artwork for the book, and yeah. It's like that last issue just a fill-in. And back this here, there was this group here. And then, of course, we finally see Barbara Gordon in this book. Yep. We have flashbacks versus how they know each other for a long time. In a team, yeah. But yeah, great book. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10 because this book is absolutely amazing. Because Kelly Thompson has a good story. I love Leonardo Romero's artwork, and just really fun book. Next up we have is Hawk Girl Once Upon a Galaxy. This contains the entire second line for Hawk Girl, which is only 6 issues. Written by Josiah Axelrod, which, of course, I remember one person described it as like, okay, so DC put somebody in the book that no one has ever heard of before. And, well, I'm going to have to sadly stop here because, well, I gotta go. So when I get back, I will talk about that book. Okay? But see you next video. Bye.